Have you ever wondered how big .NET teams can keep their code bases clean, consistent, and easy to maintain even after years of development? In today's tutorial, we'll discover one of the most advanced tools to improve your code base that is called NDepend. You can think about as the quality dashboard of your entire solution that you can track your dependencies, you can check the code metrics, you can check your technical depth, and also visualize your whole architecture. You can integrate it with your CI/CD pipeline in the Azure DevOps, or you can use directly in the Visual Studio. If you would like to get the source code from all the videos that are available on this channel, please support me on the Patreon. The link is down below in the description. And now let's get started. Alright guys, so as you see on the screen, I'm on the ndepend.com website where you can request the free trial of this .NET Code Quality and Security tool. So you can go to the free trial tab, fill up your credentials, and on your email address you receive the message with all the necessary instructions how to download this software, or if you have already the license key, then you can download the Pro edition over there. After requesting the free trial, you receive the following email message, so you can start your 14-day trial now, and you have the following link that is associated with your email. So after clicking that link, you download the necessary files, and as you see over there, you are not able to unzip it in the program files NDepend, but you have to choose some other location. I have extracted all the files that were present in the zip file downloaded from the web, and in this following location I have the Visual Studio extension.installer that I have used in order to install the extension for the Visual Studio. So I have done it already. If you would like to install it for the 2022 or any other versions or the latest one, you can just click on install and follow all the steps that are in this installation process. Now in the Visual Studio, I would like to show you how to start the work with the NDepend based on one of my old applications. So as you see, I have a couple of the projects and also the unit tests and the integration tests. So I would like to analyze my whole solution. So in the extensions section over there, you can access, after installing the NDepend extension, you can see the following first option to attach new NDepend project to current Visual Studio solution. When you click on that, you can see your all assemblies that will be analyzed. At first, you have selected the filter that it will not include the projects, which are of course the test projects. And here you can see the filtered out assemblies, so the application unit tests and also the integration tests that I have in my solution. And you can see all the projects that will be analyzed. And now I will click on the Analyze 6 .NET Assemblies. After the analysis will be done, you will be welcomed by the web report. So it's the dashboard style overview, like the health report for your entire solution. And here you can find the following data. So the technical depth, so the estimated time of resolving the technical depth based on the current industry standards. You can see also the code indicators, so the lines of code, assemblies, namespaces, fields, also the comments, so the comments versus the lines of code in the percentage indicator. Here you can see also the code coverage, but it was not imported so far. You can see the method complexity and also the quality gates, the summary of it, that here you can find the more detailed information that will go after going through this dashboard section. You can see also the rules, if it was violated, if it's critical or okay, and also the issues based on the specific type. And now going to the top, we can see the diagrams section and the dependency graph and dependency matrix. So one of the most impressive features of NDepend. So when I will click on dependency graph, then I we'll see the visual representation of how the project's namespaces and classes depend on each other. So what are the use cases of that? So you can see if you have any circular dependencies, you have too many responsibilities in the single layer, or you have the forbidden references. So for instance, when you're following the clean architecture, then the domain layer should not reference to any project, but it should be the opposite way. So in this diagram, you will be able to see that. And here you can see as well which third-party libraries are used inside of my solution, and also which namespaces are used. For instance, here we can see that the CQLinq is used, or the file system, so like the bunch of those namespaces over there, and also the ASP.NET Core. So we can see the whole overview of the dependency inside of our solution. And when I'll close this frame, we can go to the dependency matrix. So here you have the giant table showing all dependencies in both directions. So it's particularly useful for the large solutions to detect layering violations, to identify the modules that need isolation, or maybe the plan for the modularization and the microservices extraction if you would like to create the microservices for the very large solutions. So I'll close this frame as well. There is one more important feature in this overview section, so the comparison against the baseline. So what is the baseline? So it's like the last report that was generated, so our last analysis, and we can compare with our current analysis, what was improved or what was done wrong. And now I would like to create the class inside of this namespace that will violate a lot of rules. We need to, of course, import the system.io, and I see the CQLinq as well. And now I'll rebuild the solution and we'll trigger once again the web report to see how our code was changed. So now I'll rebuild the solution and we'll go to the extensions, NDepend, web report, and run analysis and build report. And as we see, based on our current analysis, the depth was increased from following value to the 3.7%, and also the technical depth increased 1 hour and 19 minutes. We see that the method complexity raised up, and also the issues, new 11 issues were introduced. So 2 high, 8 medium, and 1 low, and the rules were also violated. So violated 7 and also the critical 1. So the baseline comparison will give you the whole overview what happened between 2 reports. Or if you would like to select the specific baseline, then you can go to the extensions, NDepend, and dashboard. And also here you can choose the baseline, which one you would like to compare your current report to which baseline report. And now going to the issues tab, we can see that in the create review command.cs we have new issues 11 and the new depth as well. So what we have introduced in our new analysis. So we can see that in each of the file, we have a lot of the descriptive comments what has to be improved in this certain location. So we can go one by one, and if we would like to improve our code base, then we have to apply all of those rules to get rid of those issues, of course. And all of the files that are displayed over there, you can go one by one and check what has to be improved. Now we'll focus on the code coverage. So just to see which lines are not covered based on the unit tests that we have in our solution. So for instance, in the application unit tests, I have the following Nugget package installed, so the coverlet collector, and this will allow me to generate the specific file that we can use in NDepend dashboard to be able to display what's covered and what's not in my solution. So I will click import code coverage data and I will wipe this out. And as you see, we have the import coverage files from directory, which is recommended. So if you have a couple of the projects that are covering your whole solution with the unit tests, then you can specify only one directory, or you can select the coverage files over there. So at first we need to generate them. So I'll close this up. I will go to the tools, command line, and it will be the developer command prompt. And now we can use the following command. So .NET test collect xplat code coverage. As you see, some of those tests were failed, so only associated with the integration tests because I don't have the database at all that is related to this project. So it failed, but application unit tests were successful. So as you see, we have the attachments. So it generated for us the coverage.cobertura.xml files in those two directories. So I will use only the one from the application unit tests project. So now we can take the following directory. And now we can go once again to the extensions and NDepend dashboard. And now import code coverage data. I'm not able to write anything there, so I'll just browse it manually. And now I'll go to the My Book API application unit tests, test results, and I will select this folder. And now I'll click OK. Now, once we have our code coverage imported, then I'll press once again the new analysis, so web report, run analysis and build report to be able to generate new report with this coverage imported from the Cobertura XML file. It contains unsaved data, so I will click OK. And as you see now in our web report, we have the following coverage. So we have 45.59%. So we have which lines are covered and which lines are not covered. And now to get some deeper overview of the code coverage, we can go into the Issues tab. And here you have the percentage of the code coverage column. And you can go, for instance, to the class that is not fully covered, so 75%. And over there we see the red lines are indicators for not covered statements. So we see that these two lines are not covered, so we can do it and then we'll have 100% of the code coverage, and this is applied for all of the classes in our solution. So we can, for instance, sort by descending or ascending in terms of the code coverage. In NDepend, there is a concept of rules that are defined by the code query link language. So you can define your own, or you can use the already created ones. So if you go to the extensions and NDepend and Rules Explorer, you can see all of them. So you have 357 by default created project rules. So they are defined as the code smells, architecture, API breaking changes, dead code, security, and so on and so forth. And you have also the quality gates that they can be used in the CI/CD in the Azure DevOps to determine either the build should pass or fail. And you can see that you can also modify the already created rules. So as you can see, it will fail if the value is less than 40. So then it will let my build to be succeeded because I have 45% of the code coverage currently. And if I will change this, then of course it will fail. For instance, if I will change this to 50, then we can see the quality gate fail condition fulfilled. And then we have only the warning, and it will also be displayed in the web report. And apart from these rules, you can also import the C# compiler and Roslyn analyzers results. So in order to do that, then you have to go to extensions and NDepend project properties, and you have to click to generate following file and also the directory to store the JSON results based on the specific project. So I will click that one. It was created, and now we'll rebuild the whole solution. And now after rebuilding the solution, we can go to the extensions and NDepend and run once again the analysis and build report. And now after the report was generated, we can go to the rules and we see that we have those CQLinq rules. To be able to properly provide the code coverage in the Azure DevOps, we need to change from the coverlet collector to the coverlet MS build, because in the pipeline itself, we need to specify the proper path for the code coverage results. And in the coverlet collector, we have always the global unique identifier, and then inside of this specific folder, we have the code coverage, and with the coverlet MS build, we'll be able to have that code coverage inside of the one of the test results folder instead of having them separate by the global unique identifiers. So make sure to change that one if you would like to use the coverlet but not the collector. So then you need to change this to the MS build to have the code coverage file properly accessed by the NDepend. There is a way of also using the NDepend in the Azure DevOps instead of your local environment. So if you would like to add this in the Azure DevOps, you have to go to the organizational settings, then to the extensions, browse marketplace, search for the NDepend, and then install it for your organization. And then if you go to your project, then you can see that in the overview, you have NDepend over there. So you can click on this one. And now you can either choose the Pro license activation or the trial license, but we'll select this one. And you get the 28-day trial after filling up your all information. So I will do it now just straight away. And I will click on this button. And now we have to copy this data response and paste to the Azure DevOps extension activation text box. I will copy the whole content. And now I'll paste it over there. And I will activate the trial license. Now we are able to see the NDepend tab in the Azure DevOps project. Currently, we have no data displayed over there, but soon we'll have everything that was displayed when running the NDepend locally over there in the Azure DevOps. So we have to go to the pipelines. And I have one pipeline that doesn't have the NDepend attached. I'll press edit. And as you see, I have 4 tasks in this pipeline. So we use .NET with the version 5, so the same that is currently in my application, .NET Restore, Build Solution, and .NET Test. So the first thing to do, you need to go to the agent job, and you have to tick this allow scripts to access the OAuth token to be able to properly establish the communication between the Azure DevOps and NDepend server. After doing that, you need to press add task to the agent, job 1 in my case, and you have to write NDepend. There is one task, you have to press on add, and over there you need to specify the NDepend project. So in my case, it will be this mybook.nd project file. I will press OK. When you're using the code coverage, then you have to tick this get the coverage files from the specified directory. And in my case, the directory that will be only used will be this one. So here, after running .NET Test, I have the code coverage. And now we can press save and queue. We see that our pipeline run was totally successful. So we can go to the overview and NDepend. And now we can see that we have everything that was displayed in our Visual Studio in our Azure DevOps project. So we can see the code coverage, we can see the depth, we can see also the ways of choosing the specific pipeline and the quality gates, issues, rules, trends, metrics. We can activate the Pro license, or we can have also the configuration. So now we will not go through once again all the tabs, because this is the representation of what we had locally, but what will be interesting for us will be the quality gates. So the quality gates, as we also discussed before, are the markers either the build should be successful or not. So based on those quality gates, we can define that in our pipeline, that if any of those will be failed, then our build pipeline will not be successful. So how we can do it? We can go to the pipelines. We can press on edit, and in NDepend task, we have here the checkbox, stop the build when at least one quality gate fails. When we'll check this one and we'll save and queue, we won't be able to build our application. So then we need to either fix that quality gate indicator to be able to build our application, or change our quality gate rule. And as you see now, the NDepend task was failed because of the quality gates that were failed. So 3 quality gates were failed. We can see in this whole response out of this NDepend task. And now when we go to the repos, we see that it was failed. So we will not be able to build our application. And in the overview NDepend, we can see that the build was 6 minutes ago. And when we go to the quality gates section, we see that the percentage coverage now is less than 70%. we have the critical rules violated and also depth rating per namespace. Alright guys, so that's everything for today. If you would like to get the source code from this tutorial or any that is available on my channel, support me on the Patreon, please give me the like, write the comment, subscribe for more, and see you in the next one.